that buildup for absolutely nothing. UFC 329 was a great card. Everything was going well. We saw Paddy Pimblett fucking submit Benoit Denis in fucking 2 seconds. Mario Bautista, Crafty 29-28. Bobby Green, Terrance McKinney, Hood Classic. Lone'er Kavanagh, Brandon Royval, banger fight. Cody Garbrandt died. And then you know what Conor McGregor did? He took a fucking fat shit on our entire night. That was one of the worst, most anticlimactic endings you will ever see to a card. For all the hype that this has gotten built up, this epic rematch between two of the legends of the sport, and it fucking ended like that. I think there is a chance, guys, that McGregor came into this fight hurt. The walkout felt so weird. Just seeing him, everything felt odd. When I saw this guy come out a fucking mohawk, one of the worst haircuts known to fucking man. I thought we left that stupid mohawk back in 2013. When I saw him come out in that, I was like, I knew it was fucking over. He throws that jumping kick. His knee kind of buckles a little bit. I think there's pre-existing meniscus issues. Usually, you will see more of a shift in the knee on things like that if it were to be an ACL. I do think ACL is still in the question. I have no fucking clue. This is a guy whose whole body is falling apart. But I do think there is a good chance that he came in with some pre-existing issues and that fucking happened. Absolutely embarrassing. And you know what, Conor McGregor was actually right. Max Holloway was not going to lay a glove. Max, you won't lay a glove on me. And even if you fucking do a laugh in your face, there was no fucking laughing in his face. This guy fucking left and whimpered out. Just gone with the fucking wind. Stay gold, pony boy. Doesn't even make any fucking sense. Absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely terrible. I don't want to... do I want to lay into Conor McGregor that much? I mean, this is my countryman. I'm fucking Irish too. But fuck him for that. If he came in there with a pre-existing issue and decide to step in there, that's embarrassing. We could have got Roofy versus fucking Max Holloway. Instead, we got whatever that shit was. Absolutely embarrassing. You got Max Holloway coming out here saying, Let's on a trilogy. Let's on a trilogy. Let's do this. Let's do this. I don't want to see a fucking trilogy. That was the end of Conor McGregor. We will never see this guy back in the octagon again. It is over. And he's leaving all that God shit behind him. All the Catholicism is fucking gone. He's going to be banging fucking hookers, doing cocaine, back to doing steroids, back to eating strawberry shortcakes in his bed, laughing, yelling at the moon. He will never be back in the octagon. I really am still at a loss for words, and it happened like an hour ago. I was so fucking angry. I do kind of feel bad for Max to a degree too, because, you know, he spends his time kind of not cutting really too much weight at 170. I mean, he cut a little bit, but, you know, he spends his whole training camp preparing for McGregor, trying to get his revenge. And then that fucking happens. Now, on the good side, he got a massive payday and can go play fucking craps at fucking, at the casino and doesn't have a scratch on him. That's pretty awesome for him. But what do you do for Max Holloway? Because this does nothing for him. You know, it's just a waste of time for Max Holloway. I know he's saying, run the trilogy, brother, run the trilogy. The trilogy's not fucking happening. You're going to be fighting Maurice Rufi. You're going to be fighting Arman Sarukian. You're going to be fighting somebody of those likes. I think it might be Rufi because they already were kind of having him built up to be the next McGregor anyway in terms of his fighting style. That could be next to him. Conor McGregor, I don't think we ever see him again. It's sad to see stuff like that happen. He just looked like a fucking shell of himself. Like, even in the walkout, which, when the music hits for Foggy Dude, you're getting all hype. You're like, yeah, McGregor. And then you see his face, and you're like, why is the life look sucked out of him? The aura was not there. Not to sound like a fucking idiot, but just absolutely terrible. Waste of our time. A great card nonetheless. I don't really have that much more to say about this fight, in all honesty. Like, I'm kind of trying to keep it short, because I don't even really have all of my thoughts collected. And, you know, one thing I will say, Michael Chandler was sitting fucking octagon side for this. Was there Michael Chandler dark magic involved in this? That nobody else could fight Conor McGregor except him. He'll blow out Conor McGregor's knee if he has to go fight him in April. Do you guys think, legitimately, could Michael Chandler beat Conor McGregor as he is right now? As he's sitting in a fucking hospital bed in Las Vegas. Could Michael Chandler beat Conor McGregor? I don't even know if he could. That's how bad and low I think of Michael Chandler. Conor McGregor! I'll see you at the hospital bed, my brother. Conor McGregor was right. Max didn't land a single fucking glove on him. Didn't even touch him. He didn't laugh in his face, though. And Max Holloway, I guess, did land a missile. His aura, he made his knees weak. He did say that, which is kind of fun. That was kind of funny. He was even looking at Mike Belchon when Conor McGregor's slipping and sliding like he's at fucking Splish Splash. He's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? I mean, it was just like, from the start, you knew it was over. It did have shades of, like, Yuri Olberg for a minute where I was like, oh my god, he hurt his leg, and then he's gonna crush Max with like a fucking straight punch or a hook. Carl Solberg, though, he did that with an entirely torn ACL. You know what I mean? Or whatever, partially torn ACL. He's even fucking tougher. I don't even know what the injury for McGregor is yet, but just a terrible ending. So anticlimactic. Comparable, I guess, to like Pantoja Van, except Van caused the Pantoja injury, and at least the Oldberg injury, it ended in one of the craziest finishes you'll ever see in UFC history. This was just so anticlimactic between two of the biggest stars in the history of the sport. And happy for Max that he got his payday. Fuck you, Conor McGregor. I know that may be harsh. Some dude on my Instagram, that's coming, you know, that's a lot coming from somebody who's never accomplished anything in life. You know what the thing about Conor McGregor is? He's a shit person, a rapist, who embodies nothing about fucking God or really anything. He's a fucking fraud, if I'm being quite honest with you. And Conor McGregor's a guy I idolize, you know what I mean? When I was 10 and this guy fucking first won the belt, I looked up to him like Jesus. But he fucking threw it all away. Fuck you. Now, it might come out that he didn't have a pre-existing injury, then I gotta walk back on a couple of these things. But either way, what do the stats here say? He landed 5 points. I don't even remember him landing 5. I don't even remember any of these strikes being thrown except like a couple of Max Holloway fucking ground strikes. But let's just talk about the rest of this card, because maybe I'll do a full video on McGregor Holloway when I have all my thoughts collected. But Paddy Pimblett, you blinked and this was over. Everybody knew, and thank God I actually really studied the tape for this, because everybody knew BSD was going to shoot a bad takedown and Paddy Pimblett was going to make a pay. And anybody was saying, Paddy by guillotine, Paddy by guillotine. Paddy doesn't get you with a guillotine. He'll transition to another choke. Beautiful transition to a Darce choke. BSD might have been out for 10 seconds. Mark Goddard's dumbass didn't even do anything. Finally lifts his hands up. BSD's like, he's in fucking comatose. He's all the way back in like 1930s France. He's still thinking he's fighting the fucking Nazis. Beautiful finisher, Paddy Pimblett. That fired me up. I know I've been very critical of Paddy for a long time. I've said he's shit. His jiu-jitsu has always been elite. I've critiqued and shit on every other part of his game, but he does have very good jiu-jitsu and very good chokes, and that's one of the best finishes of the year. Give this guy Ilya next. He has so much juice behind him. See how much more excited I'm talking about Paddy Pimblett? I'm like, ooh, Paddy, that made me excited to watch that. And I'm also happy that I don't have to believe or like, you know, gaslight myself into saying that BSD is good. You know, I'm so happy. Like, I don't have to be like, BSD, he's in line to get the next title shot. At least I've seen Paddy fight for an interim already. I know that's ridiculous as is, but I know we can kind of compete with Gaethje. I think BSD would get fucking chinned in a round also. Like, fuck you, BSD. I'm so happy, like, it kind of comes full circle and BSD is still never gonna fucking win the belt. It's like, Poirier knocks this guy out, you know, drops him off the face of the earth. Then he eventually bounces back, being the roughies, the Prepelecs, the Beneil Dariush's, the Dan Hookers, and then Paddy Pimblett just puts this dude out cold with a nasty Darce choke. And this is what you deserve for doing that to Beneil Dariush. You abusing a fucking senior citizen. You're a piece of shit for that. I will say, BSD comes out there throwing off that head kick and immediately shoots. And it was the textbook way for BSD to lose, man. Just a textbook way. I figured that was going to come a little bit later in the fight, and it immediately came within fucking three minutes. Fucking BSD, dumbest takedown, he gives everybody his neck. This dude is the fucking whore. This guy's he's just a douchebag, BSD. Fuck you. Good win for Paddy Pimblett. Give him Ilya. Yeah, he knew better not to call Charles, though. I'll say that. He was calling out Max. He was calling out Justin. Calling out whoever. McGregor. He knew better than to call Charles Oliveira, because Charles Oliveira is taking you down, and if he's not getting a submission on you, you're losing 50-45, kid. That's what would have happened. And all the exchange on the feet, you would have gotten fucking beat up and bruised up. But great win for Paddy Pimblett. I'm very happy for him and excited for him. BSD, buddy. Get ready to learn prospects. If Garbrandt if Quillen Salco beats Garbrandt, he's coming to take your head off. But great win for Paddy Pimblett. Let's talk about Cory Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista. A bad day for white people, I would say, because Cory Sandhagen has really this odd fight where early on he was doing pretty good, in my opinion, with just his overall striking. I thought he actually had a little bit of pep in his step. I was like, oh, maybe Cory Sandhagen is going to try it here, get a finish. He rocks Mario Bautista with a big left. I think he was doing some nice work in the clinch. And Mario, I thought, as the round was going on, was getting better with his boxing, but Sandhagen was showing good takedown defense. But then Mario Bautista, level changes, gets a really nice takedown, gets on his back, has this late attempt of a Sulev stretch that just destroys Cory Sandhagen's leg, and it affected him for the rest of the fight. Now, when that happened, I was like, I was tweeting out, don't pull a Yuri. Don't be a fucking idiot and get knocked down. Not that Cory Sandhagen has any pop whatsoever, but I was worried there. And the left leg's torched. Joe Rogan just keeps blabbering on about it. But Cory Sandhagen, for some reason, Mario Bautista was just so gassed in that second round, it looked like. And Sandhagen was still, like, landing, you know. I kind of was saying to myself, like, Bautista, you got to get your shit together and push a pace here. You could easily finish Cory Sandhagen. And he was fighting at, like, this jab range, which made zero sense. He should have been trying to get inside Cory Sandhagen, landing his hooks, working the wrestling, just couldn't land consistent takedowns, really, at certain points in this fight. He kind of stat padded his takedown numbers in that third round with like all those mat returns, but just couldn't get them going in the second round. I'm at this point, I'm like, is Cory Sandhagen might have stole the first round. I don't know how they, I don't know how they fucking scored if the Sulev stretch, if they really took that into account, or if they kind of overrated that Sandhagen, like not knockdown, but like wobble of Mario. I might have said knockdown earlier, that wobble of Mario Bautista. I don't know how they fucking scored it, you know what I mean? But the third round comes around and Mario Bautista, I thought, did solidify himself, drops Cory bad, looks like he's gonna finish him on the ground. You got Cory Sandhagen grabbing for legs. Joe Rogan's out here mentioning Ryan Hall. A lot of shit's going on. But then Mario Bautista just does what Mario Bautista does best. Smudging, mat return, just kind of relentless with the grappling. Just looked like prime Mario Bautista, 29-28. Just him hurting Cory Sandhagen's leg in that first round was the most damaging sequence of the fight. And then he also gets a knockdown in the third round. I thought this was a clear Bautista win. Losers on Twitter were saying, Sandhagen robbery, bro. Cory Sandhagen was robbed. Who gives a fuck about Cory Sandhagen? I'm happy we're getting new blood in that top five. I've never been the biggest Mario Bautista fan, but I've learned to like this guy more. He does seem like a good dude, has continued to make improvements in his career. And the simplest analysis going into this fight was Mario Bautista's going to win this just because he's just going to get him, man. Like, Cory Sandhagen has just kind of lacked that instinct the last couple of years that gives you faith that this guy's going to win the big fights. If he's not fighting a fucking old man, I feel like he doesn't win the big ones anymore. So good win for Bautista. I think he could have gotten a finish in this one, and I really do wish Bautista could kind of get this big highlight reel finish against a real dude. He's fought an Umar and a Sandhagen now. It'd been nice if he could finish a Sandhagen. He's had moments against both. Dropped Umar, really had Sandhagen in some bad spots, but I'm waiting for him to get that iconic finish. And I don't really know what you do at the top bantamweight now, because Umar, Yadon, they're fighting. I think O'Malley and Bautista are boys. And then they need to book the Merab. Like, shit's got to get going. Get Merab versus Petr Yan going. I'm trying to figure out who the number one contender is after that. If Song Yadong actually beats Umar, it does kind of like clear some things up, because then you could just do Mario versus Song Yadong and then have O'Malley face the winner of whatever, Petr Yan versus Merab, or just Petr, you know what I mean, or just face Petr Yan after the whole Merab thing kind of sells itself out. Either way, good win for Mario Bautista. Let's keep going. Brandon Royval versus Lone'er Kavanagh. A tough loss for Lone'er Kavanagh, in my opinion, because my thing going into this fight was, and I don't know if I'd even mentioned in my breakdown for this fight, but I had said Lone'er Kavanagh, I still think to a degree, is actually unproven, because Brandon Moreno, like, although he kicked Brandon Moreno's ass, Moreno just looked so washed. And then when you take the Tyra fight into account and the fight against Kavanagh, you're like, was that really even that good of a win? You know what I mean? It's not to take away from Lone'er Kavanagh's win. It is a little bit. But it did make me think that. But the whole reason why I was picking Lone'er Kavanagh was like, all right, this guy's got good finishing potential, is a really good striker, and Royval has just taken so much damage over his last two fights where, insane 3-round war with Joshua Van and then gets nuked out by Manel Kape. I'm like, Lone'er Kavanagh's got to find a punch in this fight that kind of just puts Royval out, and he nearly did. And, like, I believe the second round, there were moments really in the third round, too, where it looked like he was going to finish Royval also. It just didn't happen. But he really struggled in this fight with the jab Royval, especially early. The first round really scared me, and then Lone'er Kavanagh almost came out there in the second and finished him. But the jab was just money. Brandon Royval was fighting like $1 million, just looked so much bigger, working the jab, using his lengths. With Brandon Royval doesn't always use his length, but he had Lone'er stuck on the fence, landing takedowns in there, landing big elbows on the ground. And second round comes around, Lone'er's kind of trying to find that body kick a little bit more. Royval's still kind of using his reach well, but lands a big right hand, lands big ground and pound, and Royval tries like fucking fluking up on Omoplata. They get back to their feet. Again, Royval's like level changing, jabbing, shooting. I thought Lone'er at times did show good takedown defense, but for overall, I think a big issue with Lone'er Kavanagh is he's got to improve his overall conditioning and just his grappling in general. I do think he has to get a little bit more diversity in his striking, because sometimes I do feel like he stands a little bit too stationary and isn't really getting these angles, and you can run into those problems when you're facing like a Royval who's a crafty vet. And again, I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I did worry about Brandon Royval randomly just locking in and winning this somehow, and he fucking did it. Second round kind of comes around. I thought that was a loner round where even with Lone'er Kavanagh landing that knockdown, like Royval survived and is still on the gas, shooting, landing his jab. Third round comes around. These guys both wobble each other. Lone'er Kavanagh a couple times in this fight trying to pull fucking guard and go for that guillotine grip, but Royval's just landing elbows, gets Lone'er in that really ugly arm triangle where Lone'er somehow got out, scrambles back. Brandon Royval takes his back, body triangle, works the rear naked choke. Just a really, really good fight where I thought Royval just did a great job mixing it up. Just a great unction performance where he really built everything off of that jab in that first round. Again, Lone'er Kavanagh I do think has a lot of potential. And I think this is a little bit of a reality check. It's not, you're not facing old washed Brandon Moreno. I get it was short notice and elevation in Mexico City. But Brandon Royval still clearly has juice left in the tank and is still crafty. And I just think Lone'er needs to work on his grappling and overall condition. You can't be getting taken down that many times by Brandon Royval. Like, Royval's not that good of a wrestler. Like, he's a good grappler with good submission game, but isn't this like great offensive wrestler. But a great win for Royval. Again, a great gatekeeper. You know what I mean? Pantoja's legacy gets better. Listen, I had the read right on this fight until I didn't. Terrance McKinney, for a guy who died twice, clearly shows an awful lot of quit it sometimes, which really annoys me because I like Terrance McKinney. And he really just lives and dies by the round one gimmick. You know, he will not let a fight go into the second round. Even if he's clearly winning the first round, he's like, I can't get to the second round. I have to die. He was dominating this fight from the get-go in terms of just looking so much bigger than King Green. Landing the jab. Had King Green bloodied up in the first 30 seconds. Landing hooks. Just, and King Green this whole time, keep in mind, Bobby Green this whole time, is just talking shit as he's getting his face punched in. And Terrance is taking him down, flans him out, is just banging him with elbows and shit. And somehow King Green fucking survives. And then once Terrance McKinney tries for the choke, and is like slips off, and then is kind of his back's on the fence, and he's kind of backpacking Bobby Green. I'm like, he better get a finish here, or this fight is over. And you're just hearing Bobby Green yell, 1 minute, bitch. What's up? What's up? He's yelling, gets out. Bobby Green, who the one thing that he was doing as he was getting pieced up before he got taken down, was he was landing that front kick well and softening up that body of Terrance McKinney. And as soon as they get back up to their feet, you already see Terrance McKinney's fucking gas. Bobby Green's just landing that front kick, landing fucking jabs and hooks to the body, and lands a nasty one to the liver, and Terrance McKinney quits with literally a second left. In saying that, I'm talking about a Bobby Green 4-fight win streak in 2026. And you know what? It sucks too, because I picked Bobby Green to win probably his last like 5 or 4 fights, you know what I mean? Or last 3 fights before this. Like, I was on the Bobby Green hype train. And I'm like, nah, Terrance McKinney should just put him out because Bobby Green fights with his hands down the entire fight. He'll get chinned, which wasn't wrong. He really should have lost this one, but he didn't. Great win for Bobby Green. Maybe he's now even another mythical fighter with these new fucking shorts on. Sorry for switching up on you. You can be called King now, I guess. You know, I always like to switch between Bobby and King because it's weird calling another grown man King, but whatever. You're King Green from now on. Really good win. Terrance McKinney. Give him Michael Chandler or something. Let Bobby Green beat up on Beneil Dariush. Let's talk about Bobby Knuckles. Let's talk about something fucking good, man. Bobby Knuckles beats Nikita Krylov. I thought this was really dumb game plan from Nikita Krylov. Like, way too many times just entering straight into the straight punches of Robert Whittaker. Was doing a nice job with the grappling, I thought, in the first round, and then just never went back to it. And Robert Whittaker, God bless him, looked like a midget out there and looked a little bit fat. Now, Joe Rogan the whole time just keeps talking about how fat Robert Whittaker looks. I fucking hated that. Joe Rogan, you're a fucking midget, by the way. I just want to leave that. I think I've said fuck 1,000 times in this video. But, what's it called? Yeah, the thing was, even when Nikita Krylov was landing those takedowns, whenever it was up on the feet, you know, Robert Whittaker was landing his jab and straight punches at will. And I know he was like kind of looking fat and puffing air in that first round, but his hands were still looking very fast. Lands a big head kick at the end of round 1. Round 2 comes around and we got Drew Brees and Theo Vaughn talking about Robert Whittaker. And then Robert Whittaker or Drew Brees was saying something about like Bobby's got to get his kicks going more. I was like, what the fuck am I listening to? It was just weird. Round 2, Robert Whittaker, I thought, kind of took over this fight, landing a 1-2, landing a jab, stopping takedowns, knocking Nikita Krylov back with straight punches, just more straights. I was just pushing a nice pace. Like, does he look as fast as he did at middleweight? No, but he still looks significantly more athletic than Nikita Krylov. Gets that 3rd round finish, broke his jaw. Nikita Krylov quit. I mean, just puzzling that he didn't go back to his wrestling, though. You have no head movement and you could really only kick and grapple, and you just decide to go away from your grappling. Got his fucking ass kicked. Rogan spent the whole time talking about how Robert Whittaker was fat. I didn't appreciate that, but great win for Robert Whittaker. Now, I do worry about this guy against, like, actual top 10 light heavyweights who are legit. Like, Ozdemir is kind of a weird one to me. And then, like, I could see him fight Khalil when he loses to Ankalaev. I would honestly really want to see that, because I'm like, just build Whittaker all the way up. Let's get that Costa rematch eventually. So give him Khalil if he loses to Ankalaev, or like an Ozdemir. I wouldn't give him Ozdemir because I don't want to waste a Whittaker loss on an Ozdemir. Give him Khalil Roundtree. At least it's like, oh, Khalil, Robert Whittaker, fight night main event. You know they would do that. Gable Steveson. Now, Gable Steveson comes out here with a little bit of crafty John Jones side kicks, front kick to the balls of Elisha Ellison, who I don't even think looked that bad. Like, Elisha Ellison should get another shot in the UFC, in my opinion. There was a crafty teep to the balls that he learned straight from John Jones that might have hit the cup of Elisha Ellison. Mark Goddard's like, I heard that cup. That's not even a good Mark Goddard, but he's like, I heard that cup. I heard the cup. And I was like, did you hear the cup? But whatever. Gable comes out there slipping on kicks, getting his takedown stuff. You're getting big elbows from Elisha Ellison. Gable Steveson, the one thing I was actually impressed by was his teeps and front kicks to the body. He was doing a nice job with those, landing big on the fence. They both had exchanges on the fence, cracks him bad with a left hook. And then Elisha Ellison, who I don't even really think like got knocked out from this punch, just got fat and collapsed and looked like he faked being out colder than Gable and loaded an attack on an unconscious man or unconscious person, which doesn't really shock me. Decent chin from Gable Steveson, though. I thought he ate some big shots from Elisha Ellison. He still sucks. Everybody hates him. Thomas Peterson subs you in round 1, buddy. But a good win nonetheless for Gable Steveson. Cody Garbrandt, the official end. He took off his gloves, man. It looked like he was going to retire. He should have retired. He actually came out. I missed like the first 10 seconds, but he came out there trying to swing, trying to do some stuff, starting fast. Giannis is working his jab, lands a big right that stings Cody Garbrandt. Garbrandt tries to shoot, doesn't get shit, and then they're getting close and Cody Garbrandt dies with a right. He's on jelly legs and the left comes in, it's over. I thought Cody Garbrandt was going to retire. Adrian Yanez talking shit. Listen, I've always liked Adrian Yanez. Cody Garbrandt, man, I don't really even have that much to say about this. I've done my whole Cody Garbrandt think piece before on this channel after the Long Zhao fight. It's been over for him for a long time. This just kind of solidified it. You got pretty brutally chinned. Hope you got paid well, though. And he honestly should have got a moment on the mic. If he wanted to retire there, he should have got his chance. I don't know why they didn't just pass on the mic. You clearly saw him with his gloves off. Luke Riley, big finish over Kai Kamaka. Listen, this beginning of this fight was weird because, man, Kai Kamaka was just bombing this guy with leg kicks and just destroying them. His left leg was beat up. There were a lot of beat up legs in this, whether it was Tracy Cortez or I don't know. I'll probably remember some other people who got beat up, but man, Kamaka's calf kicks were money. Luke Riley was landing some nice body work, drops him bad with a right hand. They get back to their feet, and then Riley's just teeing off on the fence with knees, hands. A little bit early of a stoppage because it looked like Kai Kamaka was trying to get back in the clinch and he was kind of slipping. But who really cares? He was going to die anyway. Good win for Riley. Just nice finish for him because I was like, he shouldn't be this big of a favorite. He should still beat Kai Kamaka. But Kamaka, he's a vet. He can kind of make things ugly. Good win for Luke Riley. Maybe check some kicks next time. That's really all I could say. Nice finish for him over Kai Kamaka. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Tracy Cortez, her dumbass should have wrestled. She lost Alex Pereira and Low T City. Wong Kong or Wong, however the fuck you say her name. Calls out Valentina. I don't care about women's flyweight. I don't really care that much about women's fighting except a couple of them. Nobody wants to see you get blobbed on by Valentina for fucking an hour. You know what I mean? I thought, Wong Kong, Wang Kong, I ever say this chick's name. You're kind of waiting for that highlight reel finish from her outside of her debut, and it just never came. She was beating up Tracy Cortez, land a pretty nasty illegal knee to a grounded opponent that was kind of sick. I was like, yeah, But Tracy Cortez should have just she should have gone straight to her wrestling from the start. Might have had a chance to win this. That's really all I want to say about this. I shouldn't even pick Tracy Cortez. That was embarrassing. Damian Pinas, big penis. Cesar Almeida was coming out here glory kickboxing, styling on him early, just landing leg kicks, calf kicks, body kicks, throwing an occasional head kick in there. It was just kind of point fighting Damian Pinas and making it into a just a regular kickboxing match. And then Damian Pinas got fucking angry, and he just bombs him with a straight right down the middle. Just insane. Chris Taioni wanted Cesar Almeida to die because Damian Pinas, credit him because he's a good guy, doesn't land down and rain down another hammer fist on him. And just is a good dude about it, you know. Just again, Damian Pinas is so like raw and he's so just unproven yet. I don't really know what to make of him. But this is a good win. I mean, it's better than anything fucking Oteva Gautier's. But Cesar Almeida had a really good glory career and has had a couple wins in the UFC. Like I don't think he's that. Don't think he's terrible. Like he can play around with these weird technical kickboxing matches and look good, but Damian Pinas eventually just let his hands go, and straight punches seem to kill every single kickboxer. Called out Susurkayev. Now, this one's interesting because Susurkayev probably has more weapons in terms of like shit he can do in the octagon than Damian Pinas, but Susurkayev gets hit so much that I think Pinas would just knock him out. You know what I mean? So I would like to see that. Two prospects against each other. I don't know if they would do that. Farid Bosch, how long is it? We're getting a little bit long on this video. I'll try and speed this up. Farid Basharat, John Garza. Farid Basharat begging on the mic with Joe Rogan to keep his job because you went to it shouldn't even been a 30-27. This should have been 29-28 either way. A decision with a 16-year-old in his first fight, where John Garza showed a really good, like, overall, I thought, takedown defense, great body work, showed a lot of grit, and just stood in there and really made Farid Basharat work and made him sweat. I don't know why this was 30-27. I thought John Garza had moments where he really had Farid Basharat, in my opinion, like, shitting himself. But, like, I guess a good win for Farid. Ethan Ewing would have sent this guy into the depths of hell. You know what I mean? And you could argue, I thought second round was the Garza. Third round might have gone to John Garza. Farid Basharat lands that, like, late single leg and just blobs on John Garza. And then they kind of gave that to him. I didn't really particularly love that. I got the pick right, but the one thing, I mean, when you watch the little tape you had of John Garza, like, oh, damn, this kid can strike. He can box. He has, like, a certain kind of aura to him. And you definitely saw it in this fight. I'm excited to see what's next for John Garza. Ethan Ewing, this would be the freest chance you ever get into the top 15. Farid Basharat fucking sucks. I don't think you can cut him, though, or let him go to the PFL just because he is undefeated. I think it's bad merit. But just feed him like a killer for his next fight and then give you a reason to cut him soon. Just keep feeding this guy killers and making him take damage. Zachary Reese, hurts to see. One of my favorite unranked middleweight just gets nuked by Ryan Ganja, who really has insane power for the middleweight division. Lands a big left hook on this guy, and then Joe Rogan proceeds to say that left hook was reminiscent of Joe Frazier. Because, yes, when I watch Ryan Ganja throw punches, I think of Joe Frazier. I thought that was fun. And then Joe Rogan, a couple good jinxes in this one. He goes, man, Zachary Reese is looking calm and composed, gets bombed with a left hook. So that was pretty funny. And then he did like the same shit to Cody Durden. He jinxed him. Cody Durden actually started out this fight pretty good on the feet, moving around a lot. Of that Costa was kind of way too patient. Eventually, Cody Durden, you can only fluke for so long. Costa was headhunting. What happened? What did Cody Durden do? Slip on a head kick, and then gets called with big hammer fists. Costa gets into side control, transitions to the back, and then works a rear naked choke and got him. Great card outside of the fucking main event, which I guess I'm gonna have to do a bunch of think pieces on Conor McGregor. What's next for him? I don't think he's ever coming back to the octagon. I've kind of calmed down from them, but I don't think I will really ever be able to fully articulate my thoughts for this fight. But really, the rest of this card was so great. I enjoyed watching everything else but the main event. And it was so much fun talking about the rest of this card. Like, I really did enjoy this video outside talking about this fucking fight. But again, if you're new here, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to do fights to make after this card. Spoiler, Conor McGregor, he'll be fighting random women in Dublin, trying to you know what them and fucking stuff with tampons. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Fuck you though. A good win for Max Holloway, brother. The blessed is best, brother.